the test for Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. So far this year, it hasn't come. We thought it was the Cowboys, and then we realized, no, that's the same team that lost to the Cardinals. So they're 5-0 with no sweat, but what is the test for these two guys?
Okay, let's first say what a test is.
Yes.
I believe in sports as in life, tests come.
Mm-hmm.
In life, they come more than once.
Yeah.
You get knocked to your knees several times in every lifetime, and the best you can do is get up and stagger forward.
Yeah.
In sports, you get tested. As good as they are at 5-0, they're probably not going to go undefeated. I mean, if they do, what a story. But you lose games. And so there's going to come a time when they may lose a game, or the Niners will be behind in the fourth quarter, maybe behind 2 touchdowns, and they have to speed it up and come from behind and win. We have not seen that this season. It's been relatively easy for them. No games are easy, but it's been relatively easy for them. So the one thing that we are going to see, and we need to see, how does the quarterback and the coach, how do they respond to the crisis moment? Now, they should want to face the crisis moment. Then it's not like, oh my God, we're going to have it. No, winners know there's going to be a crisis moment, face it and get past it. And as a former journalist, I want it to happen so I can see, what are you made of? Are you a champion? A champion responds to a crisis moment. And that would be a dramatic moment in the season. They haven't had it yet. I'm not saying they won't respond. I'm saying I want to see how they respond. Was that helpful, Iggy?
Yeah, and let's separate Brock and Kyle, because Kyle's 43 and Brock is 23. Kyle has been in 2 Super Bowls and lost both of them. Kyle's had crisis moments, and each time he's gotten to them, he's failed.
Yes, he has.
He's still 43, and I'm calling that young because I'm 35. And I feel like if this might be the year where Kyle Shanahan reaches the crisis moment, it doesn't fail.
Right.
He may not be doomed to failing every crisis moment. Or maybe he is. Maybe that's his flaw. Or maybe it took him all those failures to finally come through now. And if he comes through at 43, you figure, man, you got a lot of time left to succeed and not fail. So that's huge for him. And then for Brock, he hasn't failed a crisis moment. He's never been in a crisis moment. He got his arm ripped off in the first drive of the NFC Championship game and never got to get to that point, but it's waiting for him.
Yeah. Their cases are entirely different in terms of the crisis moment, and everybody knows what a crisis moment is. If you don't know it in sports, you know it in your life. Everybody has crisis moments. The kid quarterback has not had one. In that regard, he's still in the Garden of Eden. He's totally as innocent.
Long as things are going great, he's going great. But that's not how football goes forever or life goes forever. When things go bad, what do you do?
What do you do? So
what do you do?
It's really, when you want to look at it as he's in his innocence, and eventually he's going to be in a world of experience, not innocence. Yeah. How does he get past his innocence and become Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
Become Peyton Manning.
Kyle is not innocent. He lost his innocence a long time ago. He knows how cruel the world can be if you're not up to the moment. And he hasn't been up to the moment in a lot of years. But this year he might be. He has to prove it, though, because we've seen Kyle a lot. When things are going great, Kyle's great. And things are going great right now. The Niners are actually one of the healthier teams in the league right now. What if something happens to McCaffrey? Do you have an answer for that?
Right. And what if you're behind in a game? Or what if you're ahead in a game against a really good team in the fourth quarter? Do you know how to handle victory? Do you know how to bring it to a victory? He couldn't do it as an offensive coordinator with Atlanta, and he couldn't do it with the Niners. He had a lead in the fourth quarter in both those games, right, Iggy?
Certainly.
And those were his crisis moments, and he flopped. So what we know is 2 things. He has a history of flopping in the crisis moment. That's not good. That's not good. But we're saying he is not doomed to do that again. that he has all the freedom in the world to have learned, to have
Mhm.
gotten up off his knees, and to overcome whatever crisis is going to come. It could come in the Eagles in the playoffs. And what I'm not saying he's going to flop, I'm saying I want to see him enter the realm of hero. And
Yeah.
he's not there yet. Enter the realm of hero who overcomes the dragon or the bad
Yeah.
guy. And eventually it'll happen to him.
What I think is so interesting about life or the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, the thing that you can't explain, feels like you are tested a lot.
Oh,
And sometimes you pass the test and sometimes you fail. When you fail a test, it doesn't condemn you for the rest. It doesn't necessarily condemn you for the rest of your life or eternity. A lot of times, the universe will keep presenting the same test to you in different ways.
I love it.
And it's like Groundhog Day, like you're stuck and you either become a victim to the test and boohoo that life is tough and never move on and keep failing the same test, or you grow up and get yourself out of it and pass the test. And Kyle hasn't done that yet,
No,
but he may this year, or he might not. It's very interesting to see, and I'm rooting for him, just as a
I'm rooting
human
for him.
being, man. As a human
I,
being, do it for all of us, Kyle.
yeah, because we all need to pass the test after we've been
We all
knocked
need to
down.
pass the test. Yeah,
And and I'm even going further and saying, I hope he feels that way. I hope he feels there's going to be a test. I welcome it, and I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna
yeah,
just murder it. I hope he feels that way.
yeah. Then you got Brock, who's never had a real test before. Like, what's that going to
No, he
be
doesn't.
like?
Yeah, right.
You don't
He's in the
know.
Garden of Eden, as I say.
Yeah, he just thinks everything's great. Like everything is
Yeah,
easy. He's always going to win. Man, the
yeah.
longer he stays in that Garden of Eden, the tougher it's going to be for him when he gets kicked out because he doesn't get to stay there forever. Kyle's not there.
No one ever gets to stay there forever. That's the condition of
Nah.
life. You get kicked out of
Yeah.
innocence.
Yeah. And that's why I
That's
think
what
it's so interesting to watch Brock right now because it's like the whole world can see, like, man, that's a guy who's right in the Garden of Eden right now. Wow, look at him go. 23 years old, still there. Isn't that wonderful? Now enjoy it.
and he's never
Enjoy it.
noticed that there's a snake slithering around. He hasn't noticed it yet.
No. Now, the snake originally was Hassan Reddick ripping his arm off, but he came back.
He came back from the
But
serpent.
it's still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
The serpent is waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Kittle's shirt would have ticked off. Singletary. Steve. Brock came back down 10 points in the third quarter against the Raiders on the road last year. Showed he had it in him down 2 scores early in his career.
Great. We'll see.
You're
Beating the
comparing that
Raiders.
to what?
Beating
Yeah,
the
okay.
Raiders isn't getting out of the Garden of Eden.